Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and those who are currently honking in traffic, welcome back to MusicVillage. And we almost forgot to mention during that Survivor Series pay-per-view that this would be the first time in well over since its creation that the Universal Championship will be defended at the Survivor Series. So truly a very historical night that will take place during that said event. But besides historical moments that will take place during that pay-per-view, I think it's time for us to make some history in the world of games by putting them on high display for you to see in the world for this weekend for another edition of the Friday Night Greenlight. And the first game that we have up comes from the creators Team Kill Media with their game Kings of Lorne, The Fall of Ebris. Now, at first when I saw this, I thought it said Kings of Leon and started singing a couple of their classic hit songs, and one of the reasons why I got a feeling this show is gonna be a little late. But this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Doom, Fable, with a little hint of Diablo in there as well. And here's hoping in the near future for this game, seeing the fact that they already give you the option of using magic staffs and cool swords that I got a feeling that may or may not have been a part of a Soul Calibur game or two, is that they allow you to use a medieval flail to take out these enemies in this game as well. And oh, Maestro said this game also reminds him a little bit of Ash versus the Army of Darkness. I see that too. And the next game that we have up, besides demonic people fighting creatures in a demonic world of medieval state, comes from the creators and developers Moonsprout Games, nice developer name by the way, with their game Bug Fables: The Everlasting Sapling. And this automatically reminds me of a combination of a scholastic book that was probably lost many years ago, but also reminds me a little bit of, I have to say it reminds me of A Bug's Life. Definitely reminds me of A Bug's Life. And here's hoping in the near future for this turn-based RPG game that you get a chance to play is that they have a super attack that all three of them can do together to take out a multitude of enemies at once. And chances are, with the Maestro pointing at the bottom of the screen showing a button combination that you would have to do to actually get the attack to work, I got a feeling it does. I really do. Well, along with that, here's hoping that you can get other bugs to join in with you on your multitude of adventures. You know, besides those three. And the next game that we have up, besides bugs in a role-playing world, comes from the developers Moon Eye Studios, nice developer name by the way, with their game Lost Ember. And you know, I find it funny, a lot of developers this week with the word moon in their developer name. Coincidence? I think not. But besides that folks, this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Zelda, the Twilight Princess, with a little hint of Balto and Brother Bear in there as well. And maybe a little bit of Apache Chief from the Super Friends, because he can transform into different animals. Or is that the power of Apache Chief? I don't know. I'm thinking of Nightwolf. I'm getting my characters from video games and cartoons mixed up. But besides that, folks, here's hoping in the near future for this game, besides getting a chance to not only be a bird, a mole, and even a mountain goat, you also get a chance to be an eagle. And Maestro said, why an eagle? Because they can fly the longest, from what I've heard when I was in school studying birds. Yeah, so here's hoping for an eagle. And besides Maestro giving me that ridiculous look before laughing at the fact that I said I wanted an eagle from a game, the next game we have up comes from the developers Choloco with their game ghouls underground. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only R-Type, Pikmin, but a little hint of Mega Man in there as well. And the reason why I say Pikmin, folks, is because you have a whole bunch of spirits that help you out underground in this said world. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that each one of these ghouls gives you a special bonus power that you can use to take out the enemies in this game. Especially that giant oversized blue looking skull that is trying to run headfirst into you. I mean, since it's a giant head, that's the only thing that it could do, but yeah, here's hoping you have some form of defense from it, from the ghouls that are around you. And the next game that we have up, besides giant blue skulls trying to play head games, comes from the developers Flip Sadnor, Michael Tack, and Orange Maltoa with their game, Infinite Beats. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only Frequency, but a little hint of a Windows 95 screensaver that I may have been staring at a little too long when I was a kid. And here's hoping in the near future for this game, just like all games like Frequency, they give you a chance to create your own song to try to stump your friends at home, no matter how insane you'll get after trying to play it. And yes, that's another little shout out to my sister from playing Frequency many moons ago and going insane from that too. And the next game that we have up, besides bringing up my sister's psychosis from playing magical games that involves light, sounds, and music, comes from the developers Henry Kukab with their game Brass Brigade. And I'm being corrected from the maestro that it's Brass Brigade, not Brigade. It's the same thing, tomato, tomato. Well, regardless, folks, this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only Battlefield heroes, but also Star Wars Battlefront in there as well, with a little hint of a Call of Duty World War II feel in it as well too. You know, just to add it in because it involves World War II for this game. And here's hoping in the near future for this game, just like Battlefront, not only you get a chance to have one of those big giant oversized base takeover games for it, but also a chance to call out a hero if you need it for this game. But at the same time, you gotta wonder who would be the hero in those situations for the game if it's in World War II. I gotta look up a history book to find out the proper answer, but if you know, write it down in the comments. I don't know all these things all the time, folks. And besides me going back to history books from social studies many moons ago to find out heroes that we most likely will name before the end of the show, the last but not least game we have up for this week comes from the developers ABU Games with their game 30 Kilometer Survival Zone Chernobyl. And this game automatically reminds me of the Chernobyl Diaries. Yeah, that one movie that had the credit music that featured Marilyn Manson in it. Yeah, that's what this reminds me of. And here's hoping in the near future that they give you one of those Geiger counters to actually detect the radiation in the area before you step in and end up with radioactive madness. Now, Maestro, before you start saying, oh, there's no such thing as radioactive madness, if you ever saw the movie The Day After, it exists. Trust me, it exists. So here's hoping that they give you a Geiger counter or a radiation suit to avoid radioactive madness at all costs. Because you don't want it. Trust me, a lot of bad symptoms come from radioactive madness. And if you guys want to check out any other cool games that are coming through from the Steam machine via cargo plane, cargo ship, or even subterranean train that is rumbling underneath your toes, you can go ahead and head on over to the store.steampower page, only known as store.steampowered.com and just click ever so lightly on that Indy button and even a lighter tap on that upcoming page to check out a whole bunch of cool and sweet games that I got a feeling will double over as a great birthday gift if you're looking for somebody. Hint, hint. I'm just throwing it out there. Hint, hint. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into this music, and when we return, we'll be back with yet another new DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories right after this. So don't get lost in traffic just yet, folks, and stay tuned.